So Dave Ebony stirred me to do this. He did me a video of Welbeck Hall from Google Maps, and he pointed out some really interesting features, and he came up with his church, St Winifred's. I just wanted to show you the area around it and to just show you how well maintained it is. Now I'm on a public footpath, but I get a feeling this might be possibly private or a private church, I don't know. Probably people can say, but I think this probably belongs to Welbeck Hall. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I just wanted to show you how well maintained it is. Now we can't get our council to maintain stuff like this. So let's have a walk around it. Now, my understanding is it was built in the early 1900s. Now this looks Norman, well it's Norman type of design on it, but the stones do look pretty good condition. But then again, that one's cracked really badly there, as you can see. So if that was only built in the 1900s, it's not lasted very long, has it? So what's anybody else's opinion on the age of this church? Well, let's have a walk in. I've already had a bit of a scout around the graveyard, and there's an awful lot of graves in here. Same again, I've looked at the graves and they're all after the 1900s. Some of them look much older, but they're not. Just have a quick look before we go up to the church. I'm not really a graveyard looker, but this grave looks really old. But when I look at the dates on it, I'm sure that says something. Can't really tell, but that says 1890, as though that was a birth year. I could be wrong. But other than looking very old, these graves, I think they're all about 1900. I can't believe how much they've all weathered, like this one here. As you can see, it's 1941. So, they look really old. Some of the graves, there's lots of them. So what's your impressions on the church? I'm already had a look in the doorway and I can't get in, but same again, it's like, whether it's got mock Norman architecture on it, I don't know, but I've seen that on a church at Steatley, just the same sort of design. But if this is 1900, this sort of must have done mock Norman. It's not as complex as what they do with the original Norman churches, but a bit of a notice on it there. But let's wander around. But as you can see, that say it's only built in the 1900s, a number of graves in here for what is such a small community. There's a lot. It's also well maintained. But what caught my interest was this sort of design on the outside. It's like a sort of crop field type of thing. So what's the symbolism all about? As I said, like, these graves look so old, and when you look at the dates on them, they're not that old at all. That's 1954, that one. So I don't know what's missing from there. (1943) that one. So as you can see, they're all pretty recent 19th century graves. But I'm sure this will get Dave's brain whirring. And Miss Avisham's, and I put both the names in the description. So that's Otto Line Morrill, 6th of June 1873 to April 1938. So there must be a reason for this Miss Avisham. These type of graves, they look like, what do you call them now? Crusaders, possibly? It's like a bigger version of Steatley Church, this, to me. I find it strange that if it is part of the Welbeck estate, wouldn't they have had a church hundreds of years, 200 years, 200 or 300 years ago? If it was, or if it's not, if it's part of a village, then it seems a very late church, 1900s to me. So we've got one of these on the other side, so it looks like that's what's missing on the other side, an urn. But to me, the church would have been built just before the First World War. Be interesting to know if anybody knows how I can have a tour around the Welbeck estate. Say from somebody who lives on it. On a proper tour. I don't want one of these once a year tours around. Don't know what this area has been set aside for, unless it's been set aside for more graves. Yeah, I'd like a tour around Welbeck, but I'd like a tour around with somebody who lives there, rather than coming in on that once a year annual tour where you probably don't see that much. But you can see some of the stained glass windows look quite nice on here. But to me, the brickwork does look 19th century. I just query why a church would be built so late if it was part of a bigger estate. Beautiful doorway. Not quite as good as the one at Steatley, but the one at Steatley is quite deteriorated. But to me, the one at Steatley is just like this. It's got that same sort of thing, just like that. So that's just a quick tour around St Winifred's at Welbeck. Has anybody got anything interesting on Welbeck estate? Because it's been pretty much private. They keep the riffraff like you and me out. I know the military had hold of it for a while. I think they've been out about 15 years now, which seems a very close shop, Welbeck, and it's such a shame. I believe everybody's got that room for privacy of an acre of land, but I think once it's above an acre, I think, unless you're not tramping across a field, I think rights should be opened up even more. Just have a quick zoom down to this doorway from this side, and then I'll call it a day on here. So that's a quick walk around St Winifred's Church at Holbeck.